Hi everyone, it's Holly Breaking, and we are back with Emblem Nights, Chapter 3. If you hear noises in the background, it's because my husband is falling asleep to YouTube, watching Brandon Ferris. I got him into it. Anyway, book. I'm doing Emblem Nights Chapter 3, and I guess let's just get started. I don't even remember how it goes. I remember the cool things I added. Anyway, Chapter 3, An Injured Old Friend. The next morning, the grandfather took Daisuke by the arm and took him aside so his grandchildren couldn't see him. Then, I wanted to thank you for bringing a smile to my granddaughter's face, he said with a smile. Lies. Daisuke smiled back. I just wanted to help, he answered humbly. Daisuke! Yuri rushed through the door, drenched in sweat from an early morning workout. Yes? He asked alarmed. That didn't sound very alarmed. There's someone coming down the road, and he doesn't look too good, she panted. Daisuke's attitude immediately changed. Go to one of the spare rooms and prepare a bed. Excuse me. He said to the grandfather without a word. He followed the younger man's orders. Yuri, get me some wet cloths and find me a needle and thread. Sterilize it before it gets used. Before Yuri took off, she had to stop and look at him confused. How do I sterilize it? She asked him. Boil water and dip everything into it, Daisuke informed her. When she still looked confused, he answered her questioning look. Then that means the cloths, the needle, and the thread. But be careful, it'll all be extremely hot. She nodded and rushed off. I'm in a really weird mood today. Daisuke then rushed off to see who the injured person was. Joey was on the porch holding his flute in his hands while his feet kicked back and forth from the chair he was sitting in. Is he going to be okay? He asked Daisuke in concern. The person was now almost to the front porch, but they were stumbling with difficulty, staying on their feet. He will be if you will help me with him. Oh my god, I can't read either. Daisuke answered the boy, ruffling his hair, and he rushed out to the figure and caught them on their way to the ground. He started talking softly to them as he helped them to their feet. Again. To their feet again. Do you suppose there's someone they are someone he knows? Why can't I read my writing today? The grandfather asked as he appeared onto the porch. He had a strange look on his face. That could be a possibility. He is saying an awful lot to him, but he may just have good bedside manner. Joey answered his grandfather. Why does a 7-year-old know this stuff? He looked up to the man and frowned. Will you help him, though? I think he might need some help, and I'm too short to help, unfortunately. Yeah, come on, grandfather. The grandfather smiled and ruffled Joey's hair. Not a problem, kiddo, he said, walking over to the two figures. Joey, remove his sword, Daisuke said to the boy once they were on the porch. Joey's hands shook as he searched for the belt buckle, but he found within seconds and took the sword from the man. I swear it's a final draft. It doesn't have a ton of mistakes. As they walked away, Joey stared at the emerald-encrusted sword. Wow, this looks really cool, Joey said as he slowly followed them. Can I show Yuri? He asked Daisuke. Well, sorry guys, I guess you just get a blurry vision until I can get a better camera. Okay. Wow, this looks really cool, Joey said as he slowly followed them. Can I show Yuri? He asked Daisuke with sparkles in his eyes. I myself blurry. Why? Daisuke asked as they walked down the hallway. The person under the cloak moaned. His attention was brought back to the person. Just a few more steps, my friend. Hang in there. Why are you so blurry? Oh my god. If I do this for a second. Where's my hand? Focus on the hand. What do you think is right in front of you? I'm right in front of you. Look at me. Correctly. Oh, I did it. I don't know how, but I did it. Okay. You said that a few steps ago, the man joked. Well, at least you still have your sense of humor, Daisuke joked back. Don't worry, it'll be soon. Well, Yuri might know if this thing is useful or not, Joey said to Daisuke. What words are you using? One thing is for sure, it was very useless for me, the man said. Who would you say to me? The man said to him as he trudged down the hall next to Daisuke and Joey's grandfather. It broke halfway through the fight. Which room is the bed in? Daisuke asked that. After the last 4 rooms went by, 2 more rooms down, the grandfather said, as they continued down the hall. Why so far away? Daisuke asked the grandfather. The grandfather shrugged, which was hard while they were still helping the man. I picked the first one that wasn't clean. Yuri, I'll need those supplies soon, Daisuke called towards the kitchen. They're almost finished, she shouted back from the kitchen as she took the boiling water off the heat. This is not a good time for me to read. I'm very hyper. Joey went back to the kitchen with the sword in hand. Hey, Yuri, he held the sword up when he got her attention. How good is the sword? She took the sword from her little brother and felt the weight of it with both her hands and looked at the pretty encrusted jewels on the hilt. It's just sit atop a mantelpiece for guests to gawk at. She then pulled it out of its sheath and looked at the blade. You see? She showed the blade to Joey. This sword was meant to look good, not for use. She pointed at the chip in the tip of the sword. It chipped brand new. She put the sword back in its sheath so she could lean it against the wall. She then dipped the thread in the boiling water. Why do you ask? She added as an afterthought. The injured man was wearing it, Joey answered her. I'm going to go see if Daisuke needs any help now. He ran out of the kitchen and down the hall, where Daisuke already had his friend's cloak off and lying in bed. The man was breathing heavily with his eyes closed and his red hair matted to his head. He barely opened one maroon-colored eye to look at Joey. Hey, little man, how's the sword? Well, I know why your sword didn't work, Joey informed him. Daisuke was busy examining the wounds of his friend, but he still decided to humor the boy. And why is that? He asked, not looking at the boy. Now I'm all paranoid. The sword is only used for decoration, Joey said triumphantly, pumping out his chest with a big grin on his face. You didn't know. Till Yuri told you. Oh, no. Don't. No, I moved. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, camera, please. Don't do this to me. Why is this a thing? Is it just quick, rapid motions? Are you going to focus? No. The most entertaining reading I've ever done. You suck! Better camera. Yuri entered the room and handed the sword off to Joey with a basket held up against one hip filled with cleaning and sewing equipment. Here, hold this, she said to Joey when he took the sword, confused by her sudden entrance. I'm sorry it took so long. Do you need any help? She asked Daisuke as she set the basket down on the bed beside the table next to him. Could you dab the wounds with one of these? Daisuke asked her, handing over a cloth. Joey, fetch us a cold, wet cloth. And grandfather, could you go get some food? Be gentle with me, Ray joked with his face looking as pale as a ghost. Not a problem, the grandfather said to Daisuke. Joey still stood there, looking confused with the sword in his hand. Lean that against the wall, he told his grandson. Joey nodded absently and followed his grandfather out of the room. I hate you so much. You can't just work. I mean, I was in focus for a minute. Focus back on me. Like, when you focus, you do good. I'm researching you when this video is over because you're poopy. Because you do this every video. I don't like it. Anyway, just hold still, Yuri told him as she dabbed the blood on his neck. There's so much blood though. Why are you hurt? She asked, finding no wound under the blood she had wiped away. Just my side where I was cut, the man informed her. Oh, I isn't focused again. I can't move or I'll be unfocused. Then why is there blood everywhere? Yuri asked him with concern. The man showed her his hands and winced from the movement of his wound. I spread the blood around because I kept having to switch hands to keep pressure on the wound, he explained. Keeping his hands raised took a lot of time. It took a lot out of him at the moment. Oh, it makes sense. Here. Yuri took his hands and quickly wiped them off. Now you won't spread any more blood, and you can stop having them raised. Thank you, the man said with a saint smile. A saint smile? I guess Ray has a really cute smile. I can't read. This is what happens when you do 40 hours in 4 days. Okay. You should stay still now, though, Yuri said firmly. You'll only make it worse if you keep moving. Here you go, Joey said as he walked through the door with a cold washcloth dripping with water. Thank you. Yuri smiled at him as she took the washcloth and squeezed some of the excess water out before it on the man's forehead. The man died. Happy to go and get it. Wow, why can't I read? Reading is so easy. He left it in the chair on the porch where he had been sitting before the man had showed up. I'll be right back, he said eagerly, rushing off to the sister's. How to learn to use commas effectively. There is no breath between that. Don't unfocus, please. Is the washcloth helping? Yuri asked the man as she started to work on the blood that was covering his face. Yes, the man said, tiredly nodding at her question. You have very good bedside manner, Daisuke observed. I found the end. From his friend's side, where a deep gash was still bleeding, he was using one of the boiling hot cloths to clean it. My father was a sickly man, so I'm used to being around sick people. Sorry, I think I have a hair on my face, and it's weird. My mom was a nurse, and also would love to play for anyone with a bad fever. We would take people in, and she would teach me how to care for them. Take care of them. Then she would know how to boil string and holly content. Learn how to write. Stop sucking at it. Although we rarely met someone who was hurt before, so I only know a little about cuts like these. Oh, hey, look, I do know how to write. Look at me go. Yuri admitted as she moved down to his legs to clean up the blood down there. Her grandfather came in with a tray full of food. Yuri could feel her stomach growl as she smelled the food, but she ignored it. Will you hand me a clean wash rag? She asked Daisuke, who traded her for the dirty one. Daisuke dropped the soiled one into a bucket he had left to put the dirty rags into. Yuri began to clean the cut on his leg. When Daisuke observed her work, don't worry about the bad cuts. I can handle them, he said to her politely. He then turned his attention to his friend again and gave him a stern look. You're lucky this cut didn't kill you, Ray. You're not indestructible after all. Joey returned with his flute and sat down in the corner before beginning to play a light tune for them all to hear. I'm very aware of that, Ray said tiredly, not even wincing as they worked on his body. He turned to the grandfather that hadn't left the room yet. Would you bring me some water? Of course, the grandfather said, nodding his head and leaving the room. Yuri's stomach finally audibly growled, but she continued to ignore it as she moved to clean more blood off of Ray. Did you eat before practice? Daisuke asked Yuri as he began to thread the needle with the string that Yuri had sanitized for him. I don't eat breakfast before I do any type of workout. Besides, all I did was some light training. Nothing too serious, she said to him from over Ray's leg that wasn't injured. Besides, me being hungry is no big deal at the moment. We should be focusing on your friend getting better. Also, the cut on his leg isn't all that deep. We could just bandage it up. Oh my god. I can't say bandage. It's a bandage. You put it on your body when you're hurt. It's a bandage. Yuri suggested to Daisuke, taking another look at the gash on Ray's leg. It's alright, Yuri. I can handle the rest from here. Comma. Between Yuri and I. Sorry, Daisuke said as he bit the string when he was done stitching up Ray's leg. He then moved to Ray's leg to start to bandage it up. Did I not read this before? I called it good. I usually read it beforehand. I rushed. That's what it did. That means the two of you need to go and run and eat. Rest, eat, same thing, he said both to Yuri and Joey. Aww, Joey whined, stopping in the middle of his song, but he left the room without another word. Yuri hesitated. Are you sure you don't need any more help? She asked Daisuke. Daisuke nodded his head as he wrapped Lay's leg. Lay's rag. Thank God it's almost over. I am screwing your reading. I can't do words and reading. Words and reading don't mix right now. You have been more than helpful, he answered, looking up at her and smiling. He then gave her a stern look. Go get some food, he said gently. Yuri followed the order and left the room as her grandfather walked in with a glass of water. You did well today, Yuri, her grandfather said with a smile as he led the way into the kitchen. After everyone was done eating, Daisuke joined them. He looked worn out, and Yuri was quick to hand him a hot bowl of food. I made sure to keep it warm so it would be ready when you were done, she said with a smile. Daisuke smiled back at her. Thank you. I'm starving, he said graciously, taking the food from her. Daisuke looked tired for the first time Yuri had known him, but was confused as to why he was so tired. Will he be alright? She asked him, trying to figure out what was wrong. He'll be fine. Ray is one of the toughest people I know. Go between finding Ray. I'm gonna pick it apart because it's bugging me that I publish this and it's so bad grammatically and things, even though I don't care about that stuff. I care when it's vital. Daisuke answered her, but I fear what he had been fighting. Well, he clearly does not know his sword very well, Yuri said, moving aside so Daisuke could sit at the table to eat. She sat down across from him, still curious about Daisuke's demeanor. That's true, Daisuke chuckled before shoveling some food into his mouth. That easy to tell, huh? No good swordsman would be caught dead wearing a sword like that on their belt, much less take on an enemy. Comma between belt and much, I believe. He would have been better off using a stick to fend them off, Yuri said to him with a crooked smile on her face. I am curious, though, because he has those scars on his chest that he has to be a fighter of some kind. Sentence does not look weird. Or else he had some sort of bizarre farming accident. That would be a very correct observation, Daisuke said to her with a smile on his face. He took another bite of his food and then added, he knows how to use axes, and that's the extent of his know-how. And I was curious about something else, Yuri said as she was thinking about it. What is that tattoo on his chest? She had noticed it among the scars faded, but easy to distinguish. It had been a cross immersed in red flames with a shield behind it. And a sword. A sword on the shield. I forgot to put that in there. It has a likeness to the guards that have the emblem on their shields that come to town from time to time to collect taxes. Daisuke dropped a spoon and stood from the table. Yuri looked up at him in surprise. I'm too tired to answer any more questions, he said right before he walked out of the room. Yuri stared after him, knowing that she had come close to figuring something out. She had a feeling it was a secret that the two men would take it to their graves. Oh my god, thank God the reading's over, because holy wow. Right? Am I right? Holy wow. Anyway, that is the end of the book, and this is indeed published. I promise it gets better. I know I'm making fun of all my grammatic mistakes. However, it does get better. I hope that wasn't loud. Anyway, bleh. I have this book on sale at Amazon. If you want to buy it, great. I will put it in the description below. If you don't like it, that's fine too. I do this more for myself anyway, because I love my books and I love sharing them with people. So even if it's free, I'm happy to do it. Yeah, okay. Another thing real quick. This is my herbology channel. I have a secondary channel. It is called Holly Marie King, which is how I introduced myself. First channel. Switch to this new channel. But I will put a link to that channel in the description below. And if you liked what you see, be sure to like the video. Starting something new. And subscribe. Because, yay, come on. Terrible reading and camera. Fun. But yeah, anyway, hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye.